All right, here we go, everybody. New question. We'll start with reading the question sentence first. So it says here, what is his total percent savings? So this is one of those problems where it's very, very easy to believe that, hey, if I find the individual percentages and I add them together, that's going to be the answer. And that's actually going to be a misunderstanding here. Because if we're trying to find the total percentage that we save, we have to set up our equation in the following way. And as always, the formula goes your percent multiplied by your original amount equals the result. And remember our main idea. The percent and the result, whenever you plug them in, they represent the same thing. So if we want to find the total percentage of the savings, what we can do, very clear cut, is plug in the total actual savings. Because if we plug in the total savings, we'll get the total savings percent. Remember, the percent you apply is the result that you get. And there we are. The reason that we cannot write or find the percentages individually is because 1% is going to apply to the drill and the other percent is going to apply to the toolbox. You cannot say that a percentage of a drill plus a percentage of a toolbox combined together makes sense. It doesn't, because you're talking about different pieces of different things. So that's the idea there. If we want the total savings truly, we want to set it up as one equation where we use the actual total savings to then link to the total savings percentage. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Even if not, let's get to this solution here and let's see what we know. So first off, our original is going to be the total of those original amounts. So we are going to be looking at the $90 for the drill and the $60 for the toolbox. We combine those to get that original amount. So here, everybody, let's add those original prices. 90 and 60 added together gives us 150. So that'll be right there, nice and snug. Next, what we'll do is we're going to add the savings together to get the total savings right here. So that'll be $9 for the drill and $9 for the toolbox. Add those together, and that's going to give us $18 in total savings. So notice, we have our total original, our total savings. Now we can use this to get that total savings percentage. It's all about being consistent with that formula. And so here we go. P times 150 equals 18. And to get this correct now, we will divide both sides by 150. On the left side, we'll notice the cancellation. And now we just have to figure out what 18 divided by 150 is. So let's get that done. Let's do some long division, dividing 150 into 18. And we notice immediately that 150 can't go into 18. So what we'll do is we'll place the decimal, and then we will bring that 0. And now we ask, how many times does 150 go into 180? That's going to be once. I'll write that right there, and we will subtract 150, leaving us with 30. And then next, we'll show that 0, drop it, bring it down, and we'll ask ourselves, how many times does 150 go into 300? A little bit of mental math says that'll be twice. 15 times 2 is 30. So 150 times 2, yeah, that'll be 300. So there's our 2. No remainder left. And we have a clean division, 0.12. To turn that into a percentage, we are going to move that decimal place twice back to the right. And that's going to give us our total percent savings as 12%. Again, when we talk about both of these items together, this sale in total, off of the 150 that we paid, we saved 12%. That's what $18 matches up with. So be careful, because if you did these individually, what you would get for this first one is 10%. For this second one, you would get 15%. And you might think that, oh, with 10 and 15%, I might have to add those together. But notice how 25% is not an answer. Notice how it's not an answer. And that's because $18 is not 25% of 150. Notice how that does not make sense. What does make sense is talking about it in a consistent way. If you want the total savings percentage, we'll talk about the total price and the total savings. Be consistent on that, and that's how we'll succeed when it comes to working backwards to find a percentage, making the correct answer here, answer choice B. All right, so this problem here states that if the ratio between P and Q is 7 to 2 and P is 35, then what is Q? All right, so giving this a shot here, what I understand is if I'm going to solve this, we can definitely solve this as a proportion, and we'll go ahead and make sure that we remember proportion is basically a fraction being equal to another fraction, or one comparison being equal to another. So what we have to remember is, again, the order matters. If we have P, then Q, it is 7, then 2. We cannot reverse the order because we feel like it. That will absolutely get you the wrong answer. So again, respect the order. Compare the same things in the same way, and we should be good. So here we go. P over Q equals 7 over 2. Again, just like that. Now, we can absolutely proceed by cross-multiplying and dividing, or we can try to find a sweet comparison, a convenient one, to get it done. But either way, let's first be careful and set things up the right way. We are told that P equals 35, and P is right there. Not over here, not over there, not anywhere else. That is P. So let's go ahead and replace it, nice and easy, with 35. Okay, now that we're here, we're going to proceed to solve this. If we want to, we can absolutely cross-multiply and divide. That should be your go-to method every single time. And if we do that, we'll see that we get Q times 7, which is 7Q. And then 35 times 2, or double 35, that gives us 70. Now, once we do that, we then divide. And when we divide right over here by 7 on both sides, we end up getting, everybody, Q equals 10. Because again, on the left side over here, it cancels the 7. And on the right side, we have 70 divided by 7, and that's just going to be 10. So boom, we're good there, nice and easy. But I do want to express, again, if the numbers are convenient, if they line up, you can save yourself a little bit of time. So yeah, these numbers are a bit smaller, so it doesn't really matter. But if we wanted to save time, we could. Here in this situation, you might notice that 7 compared to 35, that's a relationship of times 5. And so, if from the right side to the left side is a relationship of times 5, same thing on the bottom, same thing. So 2 to the correct answer is a times 5 relationship. And I think we all know what 2 multiplied by 5 is. That is 10. Same answer that we would get going about it the normal way, but we can get it in a slightly faster way if we notice the convenience. And again, not all the problems are going to be as convenient as this one, but we want to be prepared for when it is. So there we are, everybody. Let's go ahead and keep it moving forward.